Shalom friends, Chaim Mailspin the Galilean here at the ancient ruins of the city of Tiberias, from way back 2,000 years ago, which is still here. And it is 9/11 today, and
We crashed! The other trade center's down. It's down. It's down.
I want you, my fellow patriots, to know that I stand with you. You fellows who love freedom, the the values of Israel that come under attack here and there. We believe in freedom. We believe in preserving the values of free people and raising our kids in respect of human life. And we are shocked when storms come upon us. It's not all convenience. It's not all easy. When has it ever been convenient to be a believer? Yeshua addresses his followers, right? And he says, the story of Mark chapter 4, verse 38. And I love how Yeshua is training his disciples, his Galileans, to understand that storms do come. And right, we're shocked at the way that he handled that sometimes. You know what I mean? Why was he napping in the boat, right in the middle of a storm? We get shocked when shakings happen, like in Mark chapter 4, right, verse 40, you see how this time of shaking coming upon the earth, Haggai says, he will shake everything that can be shaken. Now, let's look at the timeline of this terror attack on Tuesday, September 11th, 2001. 8:45 a.m., jet airliner crashes into the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City. 9:03 a.m., a second airline crashes into the twin South Tower, causing a devastating explosion. 9:10 a.m. in Florida, President Bush is with a bunch of children in a classroom, and his chief of staff, Andrew Card, he whispers, hey, America's under attack. 9:20, FBI investigates a report of planes being hijacked. What a crazy time. Hijacked before the World Trade Center crashes. 9:29. First reports of casualties indicate that at least 6 people were killed and like 1,000 injured. You start seeing the fire. You start seeing people jumping. 9:30, Bush declares, we have a national tragedy on our hands. 2 airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack. He says, 9:43, another plane crashes into the Pentagon in Washington. The nerve center. I mean, people thought we're going for World War III right at that minute, right? Where were you at this time? Where were you? What were your thoughts? What was happening, right? 9:48, White House and the Capitol evacuated amid further threats. 9:49, all airports across the entire U.S. shut down. 10 o'clock a.m., Flight 93 crashes near Pittsburgh. The crash site is 85 miles northwest of Camp David. Remember the Camp David Accords? Where, some wanted to divide the land of Israel, some wanted peace. We know what happens when people try to divide the land of Israel. Just read Joel chapter 3, you're going to see what happens. 10:05, South Tower of the World Trade Center collapses. 10:29, the North Tower of the World Trade Center, it just collapsed. My point is, we are shocked when we're in these storms. But those who follow Yeshua will have storms. Matthew 8:23, check that out, right? And Yeshua is saying, look, Master, I will follow you wherever you go. I wrote a song today. I will follow you wherever you go. And he said, look, foxes have holes, birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man doesn't have anywhere to lay his head. We have hard times that we experience, both in Israel, in the Middle East. It's not easy to live here always, right? It's not always convenient. Life is not about convenience. Right? Another one of the disciples said, we are warriors, by the way, but another disciple, he goes and says, let me go bury my dead. And he's like, no, let the dead bury their dead, man. We are going forward into the kingdom miracles, right? And so you see this conflict, right? This delayed discipleship concept that allows him to follow the Messiah only when it's convenient. And Yeshua is saying, no. Matthew 8:22, let the dead go bury their own dead. Which is the same as saying, let those who are spiritually dead and wrapped up in the things of the world, just go do that. Go have fun. Go play those video games. Go do your thing. Those who are pursuing the kingdom, let them do that. There's people that are just children of this world. But we are disciples. We are called to a higher calling. It's not always going to be convenient. Luke 9, verse 60, it talks about we're going to go forward together. And so when I look at 9/11, I was there on Dizengoff Center and in Tel Aviv. And I remember looking on the TV and I saw these, it was evening, and I saw these towers getting hit. I couldn't believe it, you know. I don't know. Please write in the comments what it was like for you. But for people who go through a storm, you are in shock. You don't know what to do, right? But God's saying, I'll give you the strength you need. I'll give you everything you need, right? So let me just go through Matthew 8 really quick. So the disciples entered into a ship. They entered into a ship. Behold, there arose a great tempest in the sea, so much that the ship was covered with the waves. And all of a sudden, right, in an instant, the Sea of Galilee, this calm sea right here, where I am, this placid lake is turned into a turbulent sea of churning waters. You know, critics of the scripture have been leery about the possibility of such a shift in weather, but I tell you, it happens. I saw it myself. The Sea of Galilee is part of the Great Rift Valley, the Jordan Rift, and it's like 14 miles north to south, 7 miles from east to west. Surrounding this freshwater lake are the Galilean Hills and the Golan Heights. Since the sea is nearly, 700 feet below the sea level, it is like this subtropical climate. Like, look at the trees, look at the date palms and stuff, right? So year-round, it's warm. Let me tell you what, I feel like swimming right now. Today, you know, take a journey with me on a Galilee experience. I'll tell you all this. And you'll see groves of banana trees. You'll see the 7 species. There's the majestic Hermon Mountain, right? Snow-capped some of the time. And cold winds from that elevation will come through to the heat, right? And they head down here as the cool air dumps itself over the hills, meets the rising warm air. Heat rises, right? The rising warm air, you have a collision of two, cold and hot. The gospel writers might not have been meteorologists, but they provided graphic detail about this storm and the circumstances above. Luke says that there came down a storm of wind on the lake. Luke 8:23. It came down, right? In the Greek, that's from the Greek word katabaino, which means to go down. And the reference of this northern winds of Hermon, these winds create a furious storm. I mean, the grand opening of the Aliyah Return Center, let me tell you what, we couldn't sail the huge ship because of the fact that the storm was too strong. And I said, this is nothing like the Bible time ships, the disciple ships. This is a huge, diesel engine. Nope, sorry, it can't sail. Jonah was caught in a storm, remember that? And they're casting lots who to throw in. And the lot falls on him and he gets thrown in, and he was supposed to go to Nineveh, and he ended up trying to go to Tarshish. You see storms throughout the Bible. Name one hero who had no storms. Daniel? Name one hero who had no storms in his life. We believe that terrorism is not God's will. And when they try to bring a storm on us, we're going to bring the storm right back to them. Let me tell you what. But the way, what I want to focus on here is you can calm the storm. But he did it to show them, to teach them. Job 5 verse 7. Yet man is born into trouble as the sparks fly upward. Beloved, think not it a strange thing that fiery trials come upon you to try you, as though some strange thing has happened to you, but rejoice and be partakers in the sufferings of the Messiah. When his glory will be revealed, you will be glad with exceeding joy. That's 1 Peter 4 verse 12. The shock or the unpreparedness is when the followers of the Master aren't prepared in their hearts and thinking Christians should never have to go through a storm and believers should never have to go through anything and just should have a nice life. That's not true. When attacks happen on your life, when you feel that no one cares, he cares, he's right there with you. And, in this time ahead, the days ahead, I want us to really go back to God. What do you let the storm happen to me for? Why do you let it happen? Are you going to try me? Are you trying to test me? Do I have to go through the fire? How many times? Silver is refined 7 times. Do we want the dross to be gone from us? Yes. So will we not enter in, and will we not let him refine us? Will we not look at the storms of life and say, God, hey, I know that you love me, and I know you have great things plans to prosper us, plans to bring the Jewish people home and to establish them in the land, and for the nations to get involved in the adventure. Lord, if I'm going through a trial, what do I need to learn from it? And thank you for being with me in the boat. but we know that you are the best captain and you're right here with us. And we're going to get through to the other side, and it's going to be beautiful, and you're going to do miracles. So that's what I want to just say is, when we remember, let your heart be at peace and be still and know that the Lord is still in control. And may we learn the lessons and not allow apostasy and sin to dictate our government, or God will allow more trials in order that we be purified and come back to Him. God bless you from the Galilee. Those are my thoughts this 9/11. Also, I remember those whose lives were lost, and I stand with the families as they mourn in this time, and all those around the world, Israel, in America, and around the world who fight for freedom. Thank you for your service.